I think arcade games are still very relevant. In fact, in some ways more so. Like a lot of our players that are working from home, they get all of their groceries and everything delivered. There's fewer and fewer reasons to like go out into the real world. And so having this excuse to like go to the bar to play your favorite game, it gives you this excuse to see your friends. And really it's about seeing the friends, right? The game is just there to facilitate it.
I first found Killer Queen in 2015 at MagFest. I played it one time and I was just like, holy shit, I think I'm forming an addiction, like what is going on? And then I just had to tell all my friends about it. I was like, guys, like anyone, just play this game with me. The sense of community and a sense of belonging is something that I've never experienced before. And it's kind of interesting because I wasn't really seeking that. And then when it finally happened, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And this is like, I don't know, it's just like really cool to be a part of.
Community was at the core of the game creation. It started with a field game that people were supposed to play outside together. And they did a really great job of adapting that game to an arcade. And they wanted it to be people standing next to each other. If you say something mean to someone, there's consequences. If you have a really great experience with your friends, you're just like getting dopamine together and building up, you know, your team and your community. So it's a really important aspect to the game. And I think that's a lot of what keeps people coming back.
So yeah, our style of game design is very focused on play and bringing people together, this social aspect of playing with your friends, going to the bar to meet your friends weekly. And it's important to us, both as players. I mean, we go to our local league night regularly just to go and play and hang out. And I think that's really important to us.
Oh, it's fun. It's great. I get to like hang out with the players and I don't know, just have fun. You know, it's nice like when you work on games and usually you don't get to meet any of the people that play your game. So arcade development is a little bit different in that way, which is kind of nice.
My co-designer, Nik, and I each used to design downloadable games and mobile games, all different types of games, not arcade games though. And we always loved arcades, but we just didn't really know that there was a market for it, and we didn't have experience designing for that type of game. We made a version of Killer Queen for a festival here in New York called Come Out and Play that was originally just projected on a screen with like NES controllers, and eventually led to us making an arcade version of it for this sort of game art show that NYU does called No Quarter. It was more of just, an experimental project that we were doing for fun, and it wasn't really meant to be a commercial game.
So yeah, when we premiered the cabinet for the first time, it was kind of bananas. The line was longer to play this game than for the free beer, which was a really good sign.
That's kind of how it started. It all started with just a dare, really. And from there, it's just been community driven. It is 10 years old, and when I tell people that, they're like, okay, well, all these games are new, shiny, bright lights, but this thing has just grown every single year.
We had no idea what we were doing at all. Like once we made that first cabinet, we started getting some interest from various people, and people started to ask us, well, how much would it cost to buy one? And we had no idea. So that led us eventually to make a couple more and put them on test at various arcades. And we realized, okay, there's actually a market for modern arcade games that we were not aware of. And so we started really focusing on it, doing more and more in that space. So we kind of came into the arcade world accidentally.
Well, in the indie community, everybody knows Killer Queen. It's driven a lot of people to make games for the modern arcade. For the operator side, we do get a lot of operators saying, okay, well, what is the coin drop to the square footage this thing's going to take up in my venue? Which we get, and Killer Queen is not that. We have Killer Queen usually set at $2 or less per game, which with 10 people, that's less than a quarter per person. And when an operator hears that, they're like, no. But what we try to explain to them is you can't just look at the ROI on coin data for a game like Killer Queen, because Killer Queen is unlike any other arcade game. And if you look around, you'll see why. This is a social experience. And so that's what we explain to them is you can't just look at the coin drop data, you gotta look at what it's bringing into your venue.
A lot of the old school operators at first had a hard time kind of embracing Killer Queen. It was so different, and because we didn't approach it as a commercial game from the outset, we got a lot of pushback from a lot of different aspects of it. We did make some changes in the game to help accommodate them, but I think also we've started to kind of prove to them that it works in its own way.
I mean, we had one place that we were looking at the data and we said, okay, you have a league night on Tuesday. You're talking about, an extra 10 to 15,000 in food and drink sales, and that right there pays for the game. And that's not including what you're getting and then putting the money in. We're trying to provide the value for the customer as well as the operator. So you're gonna put your money in as a customer, you're gonna get that value back, and the operator is gonna get the benefit of you keep coming back to play. This is what we're known for. Obviously, when people see this, they're like, oh, a 10-player arcade game, you guys must make like nothing but multiplayer games. But our second release, Black Emperor, which is my personal favorite, love the game, so much fun. It's a single player experience. It gives us a whole new market to explore. A lot of places that aren't gonna have room for a Killer Queen will have room for a Black Emperor.
So Black Emperor was our follow-up to Killer Queen, and we purposely wanted to approach it thinking about it as a commercial product from the outset. From the beginning, we started thinking about how to manufacture it, what the audience was, and what the market was for it.
So Black Emperor is it's finally in production. We just did our first run, and I'm very excited about it. And at Bumble Bash, there was an insane high score by Chloe LeGros. She got 121,000 on her first try, which if you've ever played the game, most people kind of top out at 3,000. So it was really incredible to see that.
We are very much an advocate for our players, and we're trying to make games that are really pushing the envelope as far as gameplay and being respectful of the players while simultaneously still needing to make money. I mean, just, it's difficult to make a game like that, and there is a certain spark in it that I don't know what it is, and I hope that I'm able to replicate that in a future game, but I don't know how. I mean, I can't articulate even what it is, and I've been playing the game for 10 years.
Even though it's 10 years, there's been a lot of people that have kind of like tried to make something similar, but there's nothing else like Killer Queen. And a lot of it is because of the community. They've taken over and they have teams in different scenes across the US, and this is all done by them. We provide them the game and they taken off with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an integral part of my life. Yeah. Oh God, that feels so strange saying out loud. Ugh.